Camera captures moment passenger plane crashed at South Korea's Muan International Airport. Airplane incidents are supposed to be a thing of the past. With highly skilled pilots, better control tower communications, and better aircraft, technology has evolved significantly to improve aviation safety standards. But Jeju Airflight 7C2216 would once again send shockwaves through the world, crashing at the Muan International Airport in South Korea. How did this Boeing 737-800 crash? What went wrong? And who is ultimately to blame for this horrendous incident? Join us today as we uncover what actually happened on 29th December 2024, leaving many citizens to start a horrific new year. Jeju Airflight 2216 was one of the standard flight routes connecting Bangkok, Thailand's Suvarnabhumi Airport to the Muan International Airport in Muan County, South Korea. The flight was one of the last of the year, with many South Koreans returning home from Thailand. However, this particular aircraft, the Boeing 737-800, which is different from the 737 MAX, was acquired by Jeju Air in 2017. It was registered as HL8088, while being equipped with two CFM International CFM5607B engines and had undergone regular services and inspections. However, the aircraft wasn't in service too often, only resuming its services a few days prior to the incident, on December 8th, with the aim of completing 4 weekly flights between Muan and Bangkok. But it was used quite frequently in the 2 days leading up to the incident, with radar suggesting that it had completed 13 flights ranging from Muan, Jeju Island, Bangkok, Beijing, Kinabalu, Nagasaki, and Taipei in the 48 hours leading up to the incident. And even though it had flown so frequently, the most available reports suggest that there were no issues found during the pre-flight checks for what would become its final voyage. Upon its final boarding in Bangkok, the flight had 175 passengers, with 2 of them being of Thai descent and the rest all being South Korean natives. One of the oldest passengers on board was 79 years old, whilst the 3-year-old kid was the youngest passenger during the flights. With them were another 6 crew members, bringing the total to 181 people as of the recent reports. In fact, most people were simply returning home after the Christmas package tour to Bangkok, which stretched around 5 days in Thailand. So, what happened on December 29th? And is there anyone to blame? Flight 2216 from Bangkok to South Korea took off from the famous Suvarnabhumi Airport at approximately 2:28 a.m. in the early hours of the morning. The flight to Muan was supposedly a 4-hour and 30-minute ordeal, with families waiting for their loved ones to land around 7 a.m. the morning of December 29th. But the flight took a little longer and was finally authorized to land at 8:54 a.m. at the Muan International Airport. However, preparing to land is another complex process, with the pilots needing to drop altitude and find the right speed. Now, for some context, Muan International Airport only features a single runway, designated runway 0119, and measures approximately 9,180 feet, or 2,800 meters. This is not the world's longest runway, but definitely long enough to accommodate a Boeing 737-800. These aircrafts only need around 4,900 feet to safely land, which is about 1.5 kilometers. By all accounts, everything seemed for a safe landing, until the air control came onto the radio at around 8:57 a.m. The plane was warned about the potential for a bird strike, but continued on its landing path. However, a few moments later, the unthinkable happened. Just 2 minutes after receiving the warning from ATC, the pilot reported a bird strike, saying "Mayday, Mayday," notifying air control that they would go around and land in the opposite direction. Authorization was given. Around 9:02 a.m., the aircraft comes in to land, touching down on its belly without any landing gear deployed. But it was already missing its landing spot by almost 4,000 feet, or 1,200 meters. The aircraft continued to skid along the runway, overshooting the threshold by about 820 feet, or 250 meters, and colliding with the embarkment holdings, the ILS array. At the same time, the airport deployed its airport fire rescue unit, but the aircraft had already caught on fire, leading to an explosion, which could be visibly seen by all residents in the vicinity. The aircraft wreckage continued with momentum, causing partial damage to the wall. This sparked immediate rescue efforts in the hopes of saving as many passengers as possible. The South Korean Ministry of Transport was also notified of the incident a few minutes later at around 9:10 a.m. But the incident would ultimately be detrimental, as only 2 crew members could be saved from the tail of the aircraft, and all passengers and other crew members tragically lost their lives during the ordeal. However, a burning question remains. Why did this happen? An immediate investigation was launched following the ordeal, with some of the investigation still ongoing at the time of this video. However, many bystanders report seeing a flock of birds being ingested by the right engine, which completely set the plane off balance. And even a local restaurant owner said that he heard what sounded like loud bangs. This still doesn't answer the question of why the landing gear failed. Well, according to Lee Jong-hyun, the Muan County Fire Chief, it is presumed the failure was caused by adverse weather conditions and the bird strike. But this doesn't truly make sense, as a look at the weather conditions at the time of the incident suggests that the weather was favorable for landing. Almost no wind to speak of, no rain or clouds, and the visibility was also nearly 5.6 miles out of 9 kilometers. Further investigation was also conducted by the United States with the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, and Boeing itself to figure out what had happened. No clear information has been released as of the writing of this video, but South Korea did pass a motion to set up a parliamentary committee to investigate the incident on January 8th. So, what do we actually know as of this video? While the common speculation is that a flock of birds is largely to blame, the question about the landing gear is still one that lingers. According to Professor Choi Ki-young of Inha University, it is noticeable from the footage that only one of the thrust reversers, which worked to slow down the plane, was working. He continued to remark that the wing flaps were not extended during the landing, suggesting that there could have been another reason for the incident. Furthermore, Kim Kwang-il, another professional aeronautical scientist at Silla University in Busan, suggested that the interval between the warning from ATC and Mayday from the pilot suggests that the pilot might have thought it better to a landing with limited capabilities rather than staying airborne with only a single working engine. But in recent days, more and more speculation has come to the forefront, but no one truly knows what actually happened. Perhaps once the US had completed its investigations, more information might bring to light the actual cause of the ordeal. However, the recent controversy faced by Boeing might not be favorable for the US manufacturer to release this to the public, and they might want the situation to just die down and people to forget about it. Unfortunately, the families of 179 passengers and crew members who sadly didn't make it might not be so keen on just letting this slide. The Korean government did step up, declaring a period of national mourning until January 5th, with 90 memorial altars being set up in 17 cities for displays of public grief. Almost all emergency benefits had also been made available for the families of the victims by President Choi Sang-mok, and Muan was officially declared a special disaster zone following the incident. Numerous New Year's events around the area were also cancelled, and it does seem like the South Korean government is doing everything within its power to ensure that those affected by the ordeal get the best assistance possible. Perhaps in a few months or years, we will finally get the full story of what happened to Jeju Airflight 2216 on the fatal December day. However, now investigations are still ongoing. What do you think caused this horrific incident? Was it the flock of birds, a lack of service, or perhaps a miscalculation by the pilot? We would love to hear your feedback, and also thank you for watching this video. It is only through your support that we can continue creating these incredible videos. Until next time.